Hi. Since July 4th, 2025 marks the 249th year of the existence of America, here's a list of 249 reasons why black folks have earned the right to be tired of white supremacy, white fragility, white mediocrity, and white delusion. And trust me, this ain't even everything. But it's enough for any sane person to say, "What the fuck?" when they hear a white person talking about black fatigue. Number 1, because you still think MLK would have agreed with your racism. Number 2, because you want our culture but not our reality. Number 3, because you gentrify our neighborhoods, then call the cops on our cookouts. Number 4, because you appropriate our slang and then police our speech. Number 5, because we can't even sleep in our own fucking houses without getting shot. Number 6, because your ancestors invented whiteness just to feel superior. Number 7, because you call the police like it's customer service. Number 8, because you made racism and now you're bored of hearing about it. Number 9, because you invented the suburbs to escape us, then built freeways through our communities. 10, because you clutch your purse when we walk by, but then ask to touch our hair. 11, because your grandparents burn crosses, and your kids post the footage of that on TikTok for clout. 12, because you get legacy admissions, but we get student debt. 13, because even when we protest peacefully, you still call us thugs. 14, because you weaponize tears like biological warfare. 15, because we make music. You make money from our music. 16, because you destroyed Black Wall Street, then pretended it never happened. 17, because you stole blues, jazz, and rock and roll, and had the nerve to call Elvis the king. 18, because your great-grandpa wore a hood, and our great-grandpa got lynched for it. 19, because we get drug tested at interviews, while your uncle snorts coke at a country club brunch. 20, because you invented All Lives Matter just to derail our pain. 21, because we built this country for free, and now you want us to move on. 22, because your textbooks erase our heroes. 23, because you turned our trauma into electives. 24, because we invented code switching to survive, and you had the nerve to call it uppity. 25, because you turned Juneteenth into a Target sale. 26, because you call us divisive for talking about our own fucking history. 27, because you get sun-kissed, we get too dark. 28, because we say Black Lives Matter, and you hear a personal attack. 29, because white men are the most violent demographic in America, but we get profiled. 30, because you created the prison industrial complex and filled it with black people. 31, because your racism is always unintentional. 32, because we get stopped and frisked, but you get warnings. 34, because every black person in America has been given the talk that could save their fucking life. 35, because you made redlining illegal, but still found a way to make banks racist. 36, because your mediocrity gets management, our excellence gets monitored. 37, because you had the audacity to rename slavery free labor in your kids' schoolwork. 38, because when we say police brutality, you say a few bad apples. 39, because Karens still feel entitled to our silence. 40, because we have to literally document our oppression for you to fucking believe it. 41, because your racism is just a joke until someone dies. 42, because you still ask why we need HBCUs. 43, because you thought Obama being president meant racism was solved. 44, because your ancestors got land from the government, ours got chain gangs. 45, because your patriotism is only proud when it's white. 46, because you built an entire film industry without ever casting us. 47, because our hairstyles still get us fucking fired. 48, because we built TikTok trends that you steal and then shadow ban us. 49, because your silence is complicity. 50, because you always ask, why does everything always have to be about race, while always making every fucking thing about race? 51, because you banned books about our truth. 52, because we bury loved ones while you debate if racism exists. 53, because you use the N-word in private but cry victim in public. 54, because you don't see color but somehow always see us as a threat. 55, because we have to prove our humanity. 56, because in America, white comfort is more valuable than black lives. 57, because you get platformed we get policed. 58, because you're always asking us to educate you for free. 59, because your ignorance is always louder than our experience. 60, because the world watched George Floyd die, while white people asked what he did wrong. 61, because your favorite influencers are built on blackface and stolen content. 62, because you love black people, just not too many of us in one place. 63, because our trauma is your Halloween costume. 64, because we were kings before colonizers rewrote the narrative. 65, because we get labeled aggressive for not being submissive. 66, because our sin is politicized and your violence is normalized. 67, because you profited from slavery and never paid reparations to black people for slavery. 68, because diversity to you means having one black friend in HR. 69, because our genius is met with suspicion. 70, because we have to mourn in motion. 71, because you use our pain as plot devices. 72, because the justice system was never made for us. 73, because we get banned for calling out racism. 74, because you get fatigued from hearing about racism, we get murdered by it. 75, because your apathy is a luxury we can't afford. 76, because the algorithm hates us as much as the institutions. 77, because you see us as content and not people. 78, because we're expected to forgive, while you motherfuckers never even apologize. 79, while you motherfuckers get to have whole concert events where you get to go and rage out and beat the shit out of each other without repercussions whatsoever, we can't go anywhere and rage out without repercussions. 80, because you gatekeep liberation. 81, because our kids are criminalized and yours are just kids. 82, because you confuse tolerance with justice. 83, because white allyship disappears when it gets uncomfortable. Always does. 84, because you still think being called racist is worse than being racist. 85, because you think we're exaggerating until it happens to you. 86, because DEI became your new slur. 87, because your Christianity skips the part about justice. 88, because you think equality is oppression. 89, because we don't get to opt out. Ever. 90, because our anger and our rage is always earned. 91, because you're tired of hearing about it, but we're tired of living it. 92, because we don't get generational wealth, we get generational trauma. 93, because your history is a lie, and our history is a threat to your lie. 94, because even when we win and win big, in your eyes we're still undeserving. 95, because your fucking ancestors wrote laws to keep us subhuman. 96, because whiteness is protected like a national treasure. 97, because your guilt doesn't change our reality. 98, because your fatigue is fucking performative. 99, because you motherfuckers got tired after 30 seconds, while we've had to survive 400 years. 100, because we're still here, and we're still not fucking free.
Nobody can tell me that every single thing that this man is actually saying is not right. It is, if I don't give it 100%, I give it like 99% right. And I didn't even put all because I think I stopped at 100, right? See, guys, that is why you see this purple resolution they are trying to create, they are trying to put their hands east, west, north, and south. I do not really buy that idea. But anyways, let's continue this video first. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time tuning in, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And guys, this is just for educational purposes. We are not here to bash anyone. We're just here to educate each other, right? So please feel free to let me know what you think in the comment section. I want to say a big thank you to every single one of you that is coming to still watch, support my channel, subscribe. I do not take you guys for granted. Especially those ones that share and send super thanks. God bless you. Anyways, let's get back into it and I'll come back with commentaries.
It sucks to be a white American. Now hold on, give me a chance, let me explain. I want you to think of the kind of person who would put on a White Lives Matter sticker on the back of their Ford pickup. Why do they do that? Is it all racism? Well, yeah. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. White Americans basically have no culture. Not in the same way we see other people. And we white people, we know this inherently, and it scares us. We know we have our regional cultures. Our cities, our sports teams, and families all give us our regional culture, but being white basically means nothing, or generally at least nothing positive. White people throughout American history are almost always seen on the side of the oppressors. Not all white people, but most of us. And this sucks to learn. It's even harder to internalize. And it's why white people usually don't accept this, because it makes us feel a deep sense of guilt. I think it's why white people say nonsense like, I can't be racist, I have black friends. Sure, you probably don't see black people as objects, but you're refusing to accept the role our people have had in their oppression. That guilt we feel is our responsibility for the actions of our ancestors. It's why white people refuse to say that black people deserve reparation, because it admits our guilt. But black people deserve reparations. It just makes sense logically. You can sue someone for scratching your car, but black people can't sue the American government for the enslavement of their people. My people are arresting and deporting Mexican families from this country. Think about that. We are telling people that they are not allowed on the land we stole. Let's go a step further. White people stole a sacred land site from the people indigenous to this land and then carved 4 white people's faces on it, most of which were slave owners. I mean, Mount Rushmore is a place that we look at and we're like, oh, cool, giant faces. But to other people, it's a giant form of oppression, and admitting that and coming to terms with that sucks. We suck, dude. My people really and truly suck. Not all of us contributed to this oppression, but we are all a part of it. And this will mostly sound like virtue signaling. It will mostly sound like, look at how rough we are. But there is a reality to admitting this guilt and being honest with it. Because white people are afraid to do this. And we're afraid to admit it because my people are weak. White people are weak. We have power we have given ourselves and put down the cultures that are stronger than us because we know that we're weak. If white Americans were oppressed the same way black, native, or Mexican American people are, we would crack like glass. Our culture and identity as white people is so meaningless that we do everything in our power to keep other people down so that we don't break from having someone else on top. I think that's why you see white Americans championing white pride, not just out of ignorance or racism, but it's because they are scared. They're scared to come to terms with their guilt, scared to admit they're wrong, and terrified to acknowledge that we may have all the societal, economic, and political power, but as a people we are weak. But this isn't the way it has to be forever. I have hope that one day my people will finally take responsibility for what we have done. I hope that we'll collectively accept our role in the oppression of our non-white brothers and sisters and finally take action. And it will take the action of us white folks. It's not just non-white people that have to fight for their rights. It's us too fighting for them because our cross to bear is being born white. Being born with the skin color of the oppressors means that we have to fight to be nothing like them. We're not near that right now. America is in a tumultuous stage where it very much does not feel like white people are acknowledging where they went wrong. But I want to have hope, and I refuse to accept that one day justice won't prevail. Collectively, we can all shed the shadow of oppression and share this place together. And that's the message I want to end with. I want to be hopeful that one day oppression will be something taught in history class, something that we don't have to see ourselves in. That's what I hope. Anyway, I want to be optimistic in the end. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.
A fellow melanated conservative once said to me, if you ever want to see how racist a white liberal really is, put him in a room with a black conservative. These are always the people to call me the N-word first. This person is a prime example of white liberal fatigue. They're the type of white liberal who believes that they're superior to black people, and so therefore, because they're superior to black people, you can't have an opinion that counters their worldview. Because God forbid a nigger should think for himself. God forbid a black person doesn't need them. God forbid a black person isn't running around here acting like their skin color is a disability. God forbid a black person says, hey, you know what? I actually read all of these political platforms and I agree with this one. God forbid a black person said, hey, you know what? I grew up in a mostly Democrat run down blue ass city, and I saw the injustices, but your opinion doesn't matter because you have to need him in order for him to have a conversation with you, because he knows that you will verbally drag his ass across the floor by his thinning hair. Now, the excuse this white liberal gave for blocking me was that I did not tag him in my video, which I forgot to do. I don't care. But I also realized that another creator named Lady J did not tag him in her video, and he has been whacking with her for a whole day now. So that's bullshit. White liberals like this have and will always be the most dangerous to black people because they will cozy up to you as if they're your friend, while at the same time understanding that they need to keep you under their control. Black mental enslavement is how they thrive. No, let's not talk about comprehending the Constitution. Let's talk about how you're black. No, let's not talk about radical republicanism. Let's talk about you're black. You're the racist here. You're the problem. And the sad part is you'll pretend like you don't understand what I'm saying, but you know exactly what I'm saying because it's your secret plan. I've gone rogue, so I am of no use to you. But if you ever feel froggy, come debate me on my live stream one day.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome. So after hearing all of those stuff that they actually have, do you think that at the end of the day, even when they decided that we're going to be doing a proper resolution on what is actually going to work, it is quite pretty to know that some of these white people are also shocked. Like they like to be. You can hear from the other clip I play. He said, to be white really sucks. It is exhausting. And I've seen different videos of white folks actually coming here to also say different things about being white, how it sucks, how it is irritating, how at the end of the day, they are not even getting what they're supposed to get. But a lot of people still put eyes on them as if they are getting what they are supposed to get. So it's just a whole lot. Like, you know, when we have this song, like, count your many blessings, name them one by one. That is how we can count these people's sins. Name them one by one without getting tired. And at the end of the day, they will still make it look like they are trying to move out racism in the section. They are trying to make everybody come as one. They are trying to make every single American enjoy what every single American is supposed to enjoy. While we know fully well that most of them that are on welfare are their white people. Most of them that are enjoying the DEI are the same people. Most of them that are enjoying a lot of things, it's still them. The only time it will affect us is when you see that they find out that we are the majority that is actually enjoying it. They'll decide to slash it or cut it out, or decide to say, oh, let them go, or decided that tomorrow they're actually going to clean up America. It's quite sad that even till date, they cannot even say, okay, let's just make these people happy. If you really want to prove to them that you do not have a white fatigue, go your way and let the people that look like me go their way. Because one of the major issues that a lot of them have been having is they cannot be able to stand to see people black succeed. They cannot. Like, it's going to be like a very big error for them. It pains them, it pieces them. And that is why at the end of the day, they actually voted for who they voted for. And now they are all coming out to cry. They are regretting. Now they want the purple resolution. They want the purple resolution. They want everybody to come as one. So that the modern day slavery, as far as I'm concerned, will actually grow very well as far as I'm concerned. Yes. Because at the end of the day, they will tell you, you never started it. We started it. We promoted it. We wanted us to come as one. How do you even think that this is actually going to work? Anyways, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, guys. I would really, really love to know what you think in the comment section. And credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. This is just for educational purposes, not to come here and bash anyone and make anyone feel uncomfortable, right? And guys, with no further ado, I do like I say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For that, bye, guys. I love you guys. Mwah.